Hey, everybody. How's your patience level holding up today or any day? I've been thinking a lot about impatience because it comes up so often with care partners that I talk to, and it sort of piles on and gets worse and worse and worse. And sometimes people say to me, I just can't get a handle on my patience. I have totally lost it. So I thought that I would dive in and see if we could come up with a few tips for easing our impatience, which is really when we're thrown into a level of chaos. We get lost in this chaos and then we're just swirling around, and it's pretty bad sometimes. And it can be a simple thing like your loved one drags their feet getting into the car and you have an important appointment and you're going to be late. We've all been there. I hear about this all the time. And then so that when we ratchet up that level of impatience, then it just keeps going. Once we finally get in the car, then you're still impatient. So what can we do? How can we adapt? I have a few tips about finding patience, and I hope that some of them will help. The first tip might involve stepping back for a moment, taking a breath to find that little bit of patience. We all the time forget to breathe, and we just swirl in the chaos with no breath. Not a good place to be. By taking a breath and stepping back, finding a little patience for yourself, you might find a little more patience for the one that you're caring for. You might find patience for the illness. You can discover a little bit about what's going on and what are you really feeling. And sometimes we're impatient with not just the person that we're caring for or ourselves. We're impatient with maybe family members, friends, people who are trying to help, professional help, and the list goes on because we're stuck. One of the things that we can also do is, and this one's kind of hard, try to accept the situation. Say, okay, I see that we're going to be late. Is my life going to end? How bad is it? Is this a crisis? Is someone in danger? Or am I just feeling absolutely spent? Sometimes if we can accept the situation, step back for just a moment, we can get clear on what's really going on. And then we can start again and be able to deal with the issue at hand, whatever it is. Another thing to do is to make a decision, to choose something. So often we feel like we are left with no choices. There's always a choice, no matter how small. Going back to the example about being late for an appointment, you might say to your loved one, all right, I've decided that we are getting in the car in 5 minutes. And by making that choice or that declaration, you might understand what choice that person has made, and that maybe there's a common ground that is to be found at the bottom of the situation. It's really sort of amazing. One of my favorites, and this one is so important for me, I think it might be the most important of all, is to take time. Take time to figure out what you are really, really feeling. Sometimes we can feel like, what am I expecting? What am I expecting of myself? What am I anticipating that this really should have been like or will be like? Am I okay with having that not happen? Sometimes as care partners, we have an expectation of ourselves. The bar is set so high that no one could possibly meet the expectation that we have of them. Not friends or family, not relatives, not professional people who are trying to help. Nobody, and not even us. So it's so important. It is one of the best things for me is to take time, figure out what am I feeling. And finally, I want to offer, and I've offered them here before to you all, 3 invitations to the heart. And I absolutely love them. These are, I found them by watching Tara Brach, a well-known meditation teacher. She suggests, first of all, that we put a hand on our heart. And the first invitation is, please, may I be curious. May I be curious about what is going on right now. Just curious. The second is, may I pause, please. May I pause and take that breath for a moment. That's all. And finally, the third invitation, please, may I proceed with loving kindness toward myself, knowing that it then automatically extends out to everyone else in my life. So those are really powerful for me, those 3 invitations, and I invite you to jot them down, look at them often, and use them. Now, you may still feel impatient. You may still feel like life is chaotic later today or tomorrow or next week, but I promise you that with a bit of practice with some of these things that I've offered, you will have a bit more compassion for yourself. And that's when we can really, really come to terms with our feelings, and then the chaos will click down and come into focus. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.